Welcome to the 81st ESA parabolic flight campaign. A little bit unusual, this time we're not in zero gravity, this time we're researching everything in partial gravity. And right now we're just pulling up, we're about to inject into a lunar parabola. And here we go. Now I'm in moon gravity. I want to tell you a bit about the experiments on board. This one here is testing a new virtual reality headset, trying to make it independent of gravity. These devices normally really depend on gravity. We want to be able to train astronauts in other environments. This experiment here is looking at fire detection, ignition, and analysis of how fire propagates, so that we can mitigate these things in the future for a safe lunar environment. So then this experiment is looking at boiling phenomena. Boiling works very differently in zero gravity or reduced gravity because the vapor gets trapped next to the hot surfaces. You can fix this with microstructures and electric fields. We want to understand how that works in lunar gravity and in Martian gravity. This experiment is looking at filtration. We have astronauts tracking lunar dust into the modules, into their environment. It's very toxic for the astronauts. So here they're learning how to filter that out for a safe environment for the astronauts to live in. So this experiment is a biology one, looking at immunology, about how immune cells move differently from blood into tissue in microgravity. We know this already. Astronauts often come back with a lot of extra infection, but we want to understand how that regime changes in partial gravity. And then this experiment is looking at human adaptation. These guys are fighter pilots, they're the right stuff. We're looking at their cognitive ability, their psychological abilities, and their recovery abilities, and how that changes between partial gravity, zero gravity, and normal gravity. And here we are looking at how increased blood flow in reduced gravity actually changes our cognitive abilities and our cognitive performance. And then over here we move to an experiment testing vehicles on the lunar surface. These are buggies that are used for transporting equipment or astronauts over difficult terrain. Do they need one wheel, two wheels, one handle, two handles? How do they maneuver? How easy is it to use them? And we're testing that already with Thomas Pesquet, the astronaut. So here we have another virtual reality experiment, this time focused on a simulation of the EO3 lunar lander and trying to assess the design of that simulation and how well it functions in lunar gravity. And moving on now to another life science experiment. These guys are using augmented reality and artificial intelligence to perform ultrasound with people that are complete novices to be used in space. Now moving on, last but definitely not least, we have this technology test showing 3D printing in reduced gravity, looking at how the spans change, the contact angles change, the adhesion changes, but also mixing some lunar regolith into the material that we're printing with to try to use resources from the moon once we're there. And now that is the end of our lunar parabola. We're in double gravity now. We need to do this many times throughout the flight to get all of the data that we want. So I hope you enjoyed that little tour in lunar gravity, but I want to show you that also on this flight we have Martian gravity. Instead of 1/6 like lunar, this is about 1/3. Great fun. I'm quite comfortable in Martian gravity, really. I think it will be much more comfortable for long-term missions. And this is the only way on Earth you can experience Mars gravity, by coming on board this wonderful plane.